सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। महायोगी स्वामी उमानंद सरस्वती की जय। Friends, my previous video about my experiences with Guru has been much appreciated, and I think I will continue with some because there is a demand that I should continue with part 2. Yes, it might end up into a spiritual autobiography, but a verbal one. So let's see. And in this process, I would recollect my Guru's memories and have her back in my life and relive those moments. They were very precious to me. Some of these moments, they come to me in a flash of a thought, and they make me feel very happy. Yes, so I would like to talk about a few more incidents. All right. There was one incident when I wanted to pick up a photograph of my Guru. We all install our Guru's photograph in the house. So I also I wanted to pick up one. And I picked up the one with, she had Shikha. They had developed in a Shiva's posture, as a replica of the Jata. She also had developed these Jata. And there was a photograph of us which is there on my Guru Gita. If you look into my video with Guru Gita, you will realize it. And mantras, under mantras, if you go and you see Guru Gita, the picture which is there is what I had picked up. And when I took the picture, I wanted to go and get it blessed from her. I wanted it through her hands. So we were sitting in the hall. Gurudev used to sit in front and on a chair, a very high pedestal. And to her right, there used to be gents. To her left, there used to be ladies. I was almost in second or third row or fourth row maximum, and very close to her. So, but the moment I picked up and went to buy the photograph outside from this stall, not buy, I had already placed the order, so I had just to pick up. And I had picked it up and I went to her to get it blessed. She gave it to me very smilingly and she said, "See what appears through it." And I took the photograph and I was returning back to my own place where I was sitting. Unfortunately, it got occupied. Some other devotee had just quietly gone and stepped in and slipped in and sat there. So I felt I was slightly offended, but I knew Gurudev was watching me. So I very quietly went behind. Then from the fourth row, I went to almost 10th row, 12th row. There was no place. And then I went out of sight of Gurudev's sight. I had to turn. There was a turning place, but it was at the entrance of the Bhairav Guha. That was her room. So I went there and I stood there. There was no place to sit, so I had to stand there. But the session had almost come to an end and she was leaving, so within, say, next 10, 12 minutes she was to leave. So I was okay. I stood there quietly. And fortunately for me, now I'm underlining that word, fortunately for me, she came and she was to pass in front of me. She had to pass me to enter her room. I was very close to the entrance. And when she came to me, she just looked up at me. She just looked at me. And through her glasses, her eyes looked so as if they were ocean. They were oceans. They were huge. I don't know how it happened, but for a fraction of a moment, I saw two huge eyes, but passively very cooling water scene, like as if they were oceans of sea water, which was still. And I don't know how I saw and what I saw, but suddenly a shiver went through me. And I realized that my entire Manipur chakra, that is the Nabhi chakra, the belly button chakra, it was quivering. It started shaking, and the entire thing must have been within, say, 12 to 15 seconds. But it shivered so much, it shook as if I had experienced. It was not fear of something dangerous. It was just a fear. Maybe because she was near or whatever you call it, and the entire my Nabhi chakra, that is Manipur chakra, it almost quivered, and it kept quivering almost for let's say more than 20-30 seconds, even after she passed and she went. But she looked at me and she knew what had happened, so there was a smile, and she went in. And of course, evening, I waited up to evening, and again, evening, we used to get a second darshan of her. So she came out, and then I had the chance to approach her. So she looked at me and she says, "My God, you're Manipur. Manipur." She mentioned it. "You're Manipur." And she said, "Didn't you experience quiver?" So I was like, before I could express even my surprise, it was just on the face. And then she gave a very sweet smile. Then she turned and she was addressing the audience about this experience. So she was saying, some are so sensitive, that just by mere glance, a guru can make difference to the devotee. And yes, I think this was a great moment. Then there was one more very nice moment I would like to talk about. We used to go to her and offer whatever little we could in a small envelope. We used to put it in front of her, and everybody used to go and offer something, whoever wanted to. At that time, my financial condition was not so good, so I had nothing to offer. I didn't have an envelope or something. But I just offered my salutations and came. But it came in my mind, I wish I could offer something. And I came back. And that afternoon I had gone to my parents' house because it was close. Mulund, my parents were in Mulund, and this was at Andheri. So in the noon time, morning darshan I used to seek and go in the afternoon to see my parents. So I went to see my parents, and my mother gave me an envelope. She said, "You offer her." But my mother had no clue that I wanted to offer. She gave it on her behalf. So she gave me an envelope, and whatever little, 51 or 20, or I don't remember, 100, whatever it was. But she gave me the money envelope. And evening when I went again to seek darshan of my guru, and I approached her with the envelope, I was like, now I'm also going to give, this feeling for Guru, I don't know, I don't have words to say, but I was very keen on giving her. And the moment I reached, and she saw that expression, but I also saw something very strange. She looked at me as if she says, "Are you satisfied?" As if she had heard my morning prayer, and afternoon I had got a chance to give her by evening whatever I wanted to do. So it was a beautiful moment. Then there was another very nice moment. I wanted to offer some flowers to my Guru. So I had gone, and I used to travel from Mulund to ashram by bus. And I still remember the bus number 396. And I used to take that bus from Mulund and go to Andheri. So when I was almost at the second last stop, I saw a bunch of flowers being sold, and they were lovely oysters. Those huge, I think that's what they call, huge pink, blue, violet and all. They are huge, and they were fresh. It was a fresh bunch of flowers. So I saw it, and somehow I decided to board down. I came down from the bus just to pick up the flowers, and then instead of waiting for the second bus, 2 stops, I walked back to the ashram. There were the last 2 stops I had to walk, but I did it. And when I went to the ashram, I was very happy. I had a bunch of very beautiful flowers they were, and I went to offer, and then somebody told me in the ashram, she said, there's no smell to these flowers. How can you bring something like this for Guru? And I suddenly felt so bad because I was new to the ashram, and quietly she said, "Go, keep it in the kitchen, and there is a basket there under the kitchen platform. You put your flowers in that." And I went. I was a little sad because I had brought them with all my heart. I mean, I loved those flowers, so I brought them, and they were really fresh and beautiful. And there were so many multicolors in it. So when I gave, I quietly went and kept them in the bucket. And suddenly I heard a bell coming from Bhairav Guha, my Guru's room. And I heard on the mic, she said, I want the entire ashram to be adorned by the flowers brought by Anuradha. That's me. And even now I have tears. And that day, that moment, my tears, they knew what was joy. My tears knew what joy was. And of course, the entire ashram was adorned only by my flowers. So this was a very beautiful moment for me in the ashram. And there was one more I would like to talk about. I was very cautious about my movements there in the ashram. I didn't want to disturb the people of the ashram. I didn't want them to feel that here comes a new girl and takes, attention or something of the Guru. So I was very cautious about it. But yet there were a few of them who were a very probably frank, or you call it, I mean, they had their own ways of probably getting to you. But we had to be very disciplined. We couldn't rebel or talk or retaliate wrongly. They were seniors of the ashram, so we had to be very careful. And I went there, and I entered a room. And of course, because of my cautiousness, because I was very cautious, probably it reflected in my movements. So when I walked into the room and all, I was like apologetic, like, can I come in, or something like that. It was a common room, but still I probably must have been overcautious. So the person in the room turned and said, "My God, you really know how to act." So I was like taken aback. I didn't know, I mean, was I acting or was I really cautious or whatever it was. But somehow, for a second, my heart stopped. I didn't appreciate it, but then, of course, I was quiet. And just then the bell rang again. And the lady who talked to me was called into Bhairav Guha. So I felt, my God, these are seniors, I better not mess with them. And when she came out of the Bhairav Guha, she gave me a look which was not very angry, very sad, but whatever, it was like as if because of you. So I had no idea, no clue. And then she went and she quietly packed her bag, whatever she had brought from home, and she was leaving. So she left the ashram. So I was like, I approached the senior most person in the ashram, and I said, "What happened? Why did that lady leave?" So they said, Gurudev asked her that she needs to go home and stay at home for next 10 days or something like that. And I didn't know whether it was because of me or because of her offhand comment or because of whatever the reason was, but I had a feeling my Gurudev had protected me. Well, if I talk about her, I know I'll be in tears in no minute. So I think with these three experiences right now, I will stop, and I'll continue. We'll continue. This might end up to be my spiritual verbal autobiography. This is Swami Radhikananda from Pune. With my humble salutations to my Guru, Umanand Saraswati, I end this video here. Thank you.